Hi, Si here from Music Radar. Today I'm joined once again by Si Trust, future music editor.
Hi.
And we are looking at Moog's Grandmother.
Yep.
Here she is in all her yellow, blue and green and a bit of red finery.
Yep. So Grandmother, another mother from Moog.
Yep.
We've already had the Mother 32 and then the DFAM drummer from another mother.
Yeah.
So another mother, quite different from those ones.
Mm-hmm.
If you have seen Mother 32 or DFAM, you'll know they're kind of these like Euro rack friendly modules, small patch points, sequencers, no keyboards. This got proper velocity sensitive keyboards. It's much more traditional synth looking, much more performance focused. Let's have a little noodle and see how it sounds.
Yeah, go for it.
So what we have here basically is a all analog mono synth.
Yeah.
Semi-modular because we got these patch points that we can play around with. And we got a sequencer and arpeggiator on board. Sequencer is quite simple. You've got basically 3 sequences you can save. 256 notes can be saved in each sequence, so that you can have them quite long, but then it's quite simple operation for kind of recording and editing. Let's have a quick look at recording one. We just literally flick into record mode here. I've got it on sequence 2. So now basically we just hit notes to record some stuff. We can put accented steps in, so let's accent there. Then we can have a rest, put legato notes by holding things down like that.
Okay, yeah.
Let's have a rest. There we go. So we put in a load of notes. We put the sequencer into sequence mode to play it. Hit play, and we can use hold to hold down a note.
Okay, yeah.
And we've got a nice little sequence. We've got pitch and mob wheels on the side here as well.
Yeah. Cool. So talk us through a little bit about your
so let's
going on.
Let's stop that. I'll tell you a little bit about what's going on here.
Yeah.
So as you've already picked up on when we started, you've got these multicolored sections along here. I've read a few people being a bit it seems to be a bit divisive about the colour and look of this Grandmother.
Okay.
Personally, I absolutely love it. Obviously, it's got this kind of retro thing going on here. It kind of, you were saying it reminds you of the
realistic remake way back,
There's
kind of that
a very kind of old school classic vibe.
Off-the-shelf feel.
I think it looks really nice. It's a cool retro little look. The other thing about it is these colours do a really nice job of sort of identifying your different sections. So it makes it actually really easy to navigate. Yeah. As we've already covered over here, you've got the ARP and sequencer. Next, you've got your modulation. So you've got LFO here. You've also in the LFO got a sample and hold output. So we can kind of have that slightly kind of almost randomization stuff that you get with sample and hold. Yeah. Nice little touch. We've got our oscillators. So we've got 2 oscillators, both with multiple classic kind of analog wave shapes. Yeah. You've got various kind of ins and outs here. We can do linear FM input, so obviously routing any kind of high frequency or audio rate input into linear FM, such as oscillator 1 into there. You get this cool metallic frequency modulation sounds. Oscillator sync here as well. Obviously you expected kind of tuning of a second oscillator. You've got pitch inputs, wave outputs. We've got mixer and utilities in the middle. Mixer, obviously, you've got your controls for your different oscillators plus a noise generator. You've got inputs here, so we can basically remove any of these from the signal flow to put an external input in whatever we want to do there. Utilities, which is always a handy thing with any kind of semi-modular stuff. You've got this mult here where basically you've got 4 parallel inputs, so we can kind of blend or split kind of audio signals and things like that. Got a high-pass filter. The high-pass filter isn't part of the hardwired signal flow. So obviously this being semi-modular, we can unplug all of this and you will get sounds out of it because it is all patched through with hardwired things, but the high pass isn't part of that. So if we want to use the high pass filter, you need to patch it in, which is what we've done here. So you can see I'm using basically the output of oscillator 1 is going into the high pass filter. So oscillator 1 here I've got as a kind of low bassy oscillator. I've basically patched that through the high pass and then back into the mixer, so we can basically just remove the low end from that. You'll see I'm also using the modulation here, a bit of sample hold into the pulse width in this oscillator. We've got the gate clocked to the sync, so we're clocking our LFO to the sequencer as well.
Okay.
Kind of pretty basic stuff that we're doing using the semi-modular architecture. Filter here, classic Moog filter, ladder filter design. Obviously, if you know anything about Moog synths, you know about filters.
It's always.
It sounds great, as you would expect.
Big.
That lovely kind of raspy metallic tone you get with Moog filters.
Lovely.
So we've got envelope control here. So kind of the hard wired routing here. We've got our envelope, which we can send to the filter here using this. As you see, you've got resonance, got keyboard tracking options, a variety of inputs and an output there. Envelope, we've just got the one ADSR envelope here, attack, decay, and release knobs, a sustain level slider here. We've got kind of bi-directional outputs, a trigger input. And then last but not least is this here, spring reverb, which is a really cool touch.
It's real. It is. I love that.
Spring reverb. Obviously, it was something that was on a lot of kind of old classic synths. It's sort of dropped off. You don't really see it anymore.
It's sort of coming back, like with DSP engines. A lot of them sort of like popping it back in, that sort of retro vibe.
Yeah, so having
this is the real deal.
I like having it. It's really cool. Obviously, you can got dry wet here. So it's great for adding a bit of space. Finally, our output module here. We've got the VCA mode switch here. So you've got envelope, where obviously we are controlling the amp via this envelope here. Keyboard release, which basically means if you hold down a key, you get in the full sustain, and then the envelope triggers in after you release the note. And then a drone mode, which is obviously just letting it trigger like that for creating drones or anything you don't want to be hands-on with the keyboard. We've also got input here for the reverb, and there is also a reverb out on the back.
Lovely.
So back panel we've got some cool stuff. There's a Eurorack output, so you've got an output which basically is just the main output, but level-wise formatted to work well with Eurorack.
Good.
We've got a reverb output, which coupled with this reverb in basically means you can use a spring reverb as an effects processor. Then you've also got an audio input. Got quite a lot of kind of control and stuff. So we've got MIDI in, out and through, as you expect.
The usual.
We've got CV for the ARP and sequencer here. And then you've got USB, so you can do USB MIDI in and out.
And the fine tunes here
as
well.
So in a nutshell, that is basically what we've got going on here. Let's go through a few other patch examples.
Let's see what some other tricks it's got up its sleeve.
Hear what we can do.
Yeah, cool. Okay, so we're having a dig through the manual.
So what we're going to do...
a whole ton of patching ideas that we can learn from.
So let's use a few of these to just kind of show off a few things it can do. So here we've got a patch where we're using the modulator and the sample and hold. The mod wheel, by the way, so it's worth just saying quickly, mod wheel is hard routed to control modulation. So with all of these routings here, you basically turn the mod wheel up to increase modulation amounts, which is what we're using in this patch, which we're going to use as a kind of drone thing. You can hear, turn the mod wheel up. We can use this kind of steps modulation controlled by the LFO rate.
All right, let's have a listen. You can play with the filter all day long, couldn't we?
Yeah.
Okay.
Cool. Let's look at a different kind of patch.
Yeah. Go on. Let's go. Okay. So repatched it to this is what they call J bass.
Yeah, where it's
or a
close to that. We're sort of just messing around with things a bit. So.
But it's sort of a generic
classic
sort of
bass sound. Yeah. So. Let's use the ARP to try and have a bit of a
Go on.
So if we hit hold, we can do start messing around with a few controls. We've got the high pass in here, so we can. As you can hear, there's a real nice like low end punch to this. So.
Very rich.
So yeah,
rich, raspy.
really nice bass heavy, proper analog kind of bassline tones.
Well,
sounds great.
I was in love with it, but I'm even more in love with it now. I think we should just carry on patching
more
more
sounds?
stuff.
Yeah,
let's do it. Come on. So, Si, we've patched another one in. This one's Cavern Strings, I believe.
Yeah, so let's go with something nice, kind of and a bit cinematic and ambient.
Yeah,
and make use of this cool spring reverb.
Yeah, of course. This is wound right up.
Yeah, so you can hear when we turn the spring reverb all the way up here, you kind of get this proper kind of cavernous kind of sound as it's sort of being filtered through the reverb as well. So turn that down a bit, obviously. Yeah. This patch is also making use of the two different filters to process the two oscillators.
Yeah.
Got glide control here. Cool. Let's take a listen to another sound.
Yeah. Okay, so back into the manual again. We're going slightly off piste.
Basically, we're to just show something that works quite cool for a sequencer kind of RP line.
Yeah.
We've adapted something from the manual, which is processing the output through the high pass filter and then blending it back in through the mixer for some cool kind of like harsh sounds.
Yeah.
We're also playing around here with a bit of linear FM and oscillator sync, just to make something kind of cool and raspy and synthy. Let's hit hold and get an ARP going.
Okay.
So you can kind of hear we've got a cool, like, metallic, quite harsh sound. We can play around with this high pass, like I said, it's being processed here. So it helps create these cool little effects. Like I said, this has been processed, fed back into the mixer through the noise input here. So basically now this noise control, this means the noise generator is removed from the signal flow, and we're using this noise generator level to mix our signal back in. Like I said, we've kind of got some cool interactions with the oscillators going here, so we can kind of play around with tuning of oscillator 2 in sync. To tailor kind of different effects. A bit of spring reverb. So yeah, cool, weird little metallic tones.
Yeah, brilliant.
So from those few patches, we can kind of see a little idea of the flexibility you get from this. So yeah, you can do quite a lot. It's as kind of these semi-modulars go, it's maybe not the most kind of extensive compared to something like the Mini Brute 2, which has probably more flexibility with, if you remember on the Mini Brute 2, you've got things like where you can kind of, you've got inputs to control envelope things, which you don't on here. It's also worth saying, you know, obviously we've got some cool modulation things going in those patches, but you do only have this one ADSR envelope and the one NFO. I mean, having the extra sample and hold output does give you more flexibility, as does having this mod wheel here and the pitch wheel. But on the modulation side, it's not the most extensive amount of kind of modulation sources you'll find in a synth.
But that's
at
fine,
this kind of level.
But that said, the character.
Yeah, the character, and it is one of those. It's one of those instruments which really like encourages you to work with what you've got. And
you're
do some interesting things.
Hemmed in.
Yeah, and I really like it. Like you've got the utilities here, so obviously you've got your kind of multiplier, you've got your attenuator, which gives you a bit of flexibility, and it kind of just the architecture of it really encourages you to have a play around and just experiment with things you can do with those with what you've got. Obviously, saying that, it's semi-modular. You've got your Eurorack outputs. You've got your various inputs.
Slotting in very well with everything else.
You can really easily expand it with some other stuff for plenty of cool things, which obviously we've not looked at all here. No. But it would pair brilliantly with something like the Mothers or the DFAM, or anything else with some extra modulation sources or extra oscillators or filters or whatever you want to play with. Anything something to run through the spring reverb. There's loads you could do. It's a really nice synth to just play around with. This keyboard is nice addition. Like I said, I love the look of it, and I think it makes it really easy to navigate. Absolutely. So for the price point, it's priced at what I think the RRP is 960, 960-ish.
The street price has dropped just below 900 now, I think.
Yeah.
So, I mean...
So for a Moog product, that's,
very good.
Moog products are always kind of...
The premium
They're
end.
nice quality, they're a bit higher end, and I think that's quite a reasonable price for what this is, for what we get. So in short, we really like it, don't we?
Yeah, we do. I think a couple of nice things I like. I like the fact that the mixer and the utilities section are nice in the middle, so we're not sort of launching from one side to the other with cables. It's very intelligent design there.
Yeah.
When I first got out of the box,
Yep.
I was surprised. It's all plastic.
Yeah, it is worth saying that. We've not really touched on that. But it doesn't feel cheap, does it?
No, it doesn't feel cheap at all. I mean,
Yeah.
they've got this nice sort of Tolex-esque sort of finish going on, their sort of vintage vibe. Also, talking about out of the box, get this. Who doesn't have a slinky?
I mean, if the retro thing wasn't kind of hammered home enough, they're really bashing you over the head with the sort of retro vibe, aren't they?
Yeah, absolutely. Cables come in with the box as well. All in all,
ARP and sequencer, kind of like we said, it's not the kind of most extensive ARP sequencer compared to something again like Arturio's Mini Brute 2, which the 2S particularly, which has all this complicated modulation outputs and stuff. We do have a keyboard velocity output and a gate output. It's worth saying velocity. This is velocity sensitive.
Yeah.
Velocity isn't rooted to anything hard rooted. But obviously it's really easy to route it to whatever you want from there.
Cool. Yeah.
That does make it more flexible.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, it's not the most flexible sequencer in the world, and it's not the most flexible synth in the world, but it has a lot of character.
Yeah.
It encourages you to play around with it, and it sounds great.
It does sound
really
great.
nice.
I mean, it's drawing on all of Moog's kind of heritage, because every section has kind of derived from a previous product.
Yeah, I mean, clearly,
I don't know exactly which ones are which.
Clearly, the idea behind this is to capture that, Moog are one of the real major kind of classic brands when it comes to modular and semi-modular synths. Their kind of 1970s big modular units are some of the kind of the originators, and so the coolest and most famous synths. And the idea is clearly to kind of capture a bit of the sound and a bit of the feel of that within something.
They do really well.
And I think it nails that, doesn't it? You get that proper Moog sound, really kind of raspy and metallic and bass heavy, which is exactly what you want from it.
I like the feel. It sort of feels a bit centerpiecey. I feel like if I had an existing modular, even if I didn't have an existing modular, this is a gateway into it, or it's a perfect kind of middle part of it, because you can use the keyboard and control the keyboard as well. So it's I want one. So
we like
I'm going
it.
to be saving up for that right now.
Yeah.
And I think we should have some more sort of patchings and stuff.
Should we just jam our way out of this?
Our way out of it, yeah. So before we do, be sure to like, subscribe, comment, and share wherever you're seeing this video right now. Of course, the latest edition of Future Music is on sale now as well, so do check that out. And head on over to musicradar.com for the latest news, reviews, and tutorials. Cheers.
Thanks.